Yes, I agree. But from the point of view of functionality, there's more risk in your bags and black risk. But if it was a trailer, that would be the other way around. I'd say maybe not have a stop it, but stop your load shifting into your
So we've got a run out to Kersey today. The first half is about 23 miles, so it's not long, but it's fairly twisty, windy little road, so do take care. You've all got a route card, and the first half will take you across to Kersey, where we've notified the little cafe there. There's a lovely little cafe in Kersey, and the lady makes all her own cakes and everything else, and she's actually phoned us 2 or 3 times, worried to death that we're going to get about 150 cars or something, but I think it's a bit less than that anyway. So there we can have a coffee stop, and then David has organised a tour around Kersey Mill. Now this is quite unique because they don't normally open for people, so they're opening specially for us. They also have a little box at the end of it which is a collection, so that is for the upkeep of Kersey Mill, so if everybody could find a couple of bob in there, that would be gratefully accepted, I'm sure. Yeah, so we're about 23 miles, but the timing is maybe just a little bit tight. If we're going to walk around the mill, we're going to have coffee over there and everything, and we've got to be back here for 2:30. The run on the way back will take, it's still, oddly enough, it's come out to the same, about 23 miles, but it does include a bit of main road, so you can put your foot down a little bit along there and get back. Yeah, speeds, everybody generally does different speeds on these sort of events, so if anyone wants to get past you, you know, there's always going to be 1 or 2, I won't say hooligans because none of us are hooligans, but there's always going to be 1 or 2 that want to get past and go a little bit quicker than you do, maybe. Hopefully we'll start off with about 1-minute intervals with Len, who should, here he is going to be our starting man up at the gate. That is just so as nobody gets in convoy and follows the one in front, who, take it from me, because it's happened a lot of times, the one in front is normally lost anyway, so yeah, this is all made as a bit of fun and a morning out, so don't use sat-navs for goodness sake. Anyone caught, I'll put down here, has got to buy a round of drinks for anybody at the end. Caught using your sat-navs. I think that's the route book. Everybody's got their route book, have they?
It's an extra copy if you need any. No. Okay.
Are you all familiar with this sort of thing? What we're doing is what they call a tulip route. These little diagrams of the road junctions are called tulips. So what you do is go in from the bottom, from the dot, and you come out on the arrow. So if you've got crossroads, we turn right, you've got a cross, you've got a dot at the bottom, and you've got an arrow coming out to the right. Hope it's to the right, in the right cases, it might be to the left, I don't know, but I think we got most of it right there, haven't we?
I think so. We've driven it enough times.
Yeah, we have. We've gone over the route. And David and Anne did it late yesterday afternoon just to make sure there's no sort of major road works where we can't get down that road or something, and everything seems to be clear. David's going to go off first and get over there and get all the trip organised. We've also actually got a photo shoot with our cars in front of Kersey Mill, which will be quite nice as well. So David's going to run first, I'm going to run last, as we call the sweeper, or tail end Charlie, or whatever you want to call me today. Some say red one, but there you go. So anybody okay with the route? You've got the mileage. Those of you who've got trips, if you haven't, it's not that bad because the roads do not come up bang, bang, bang. If you just run to the nearest sort of mile, you're pretty much right. So, if you've got, say, on number 1 there, it says 0 trip, turn left at a car park. So you've got going in on the dot, coming out on the arrow. Then on the roundabouts, looking at number 10 here, it's 1.4 miles to that roundabout, and it's got descriptive instruction on the right. So again, you go in on the dot and out on the arrow, and it tells you second exit, signpost Thetford. So it's pretty much foolproof, isn't it? We hope. We hope. That's possibly famous last words, but you know, we hope it's pretty much foolproof. Yeah. Any?
I've got a couple of things. Okay.
Yeah.
Just before we close, don't follow me because I'm going to go a different route because on the way back there's some turnings that aren't signed up at all. They're just turnings referring to a mileage. So I've got some sort of Mickey Mouse seaside flags that I'll stick in the verge. There's about 3 of these will go out. Hopefully they'll still be there. That's on the way back. So the way there is absolutely fine.
It's around about the 40 mark on
Yeah.
on there.
So if you look out for those, but and the trip, I drove the route yesterday, and within sort of 0.2 of a mile, 1/10. So, and it obviously depends on what tyres you've got and
Yeah.
what car
Everybody's
you've got, whatever. But the mileage is all within sort of 1 or 2/10. So if you have got a trip, that's great. And obviously, we 0 at the gate here and 0 when we leave Kersey Mill. And one good thing here is at least we all have to turn left, don't we?
Yeah, we've got no option, so your first one is going to be right. Well, not right, but it's going to be correct.
Well, we've had this before when we left Ruffham Airfield a few years ago, and then some people turned left out of the airfield and some people turned right, and that was the very first manoeuvre, wasn't it? So yeah, so it should be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody, any questions?
Yes.
Item
What
20.
does SGW mean?
Yes.
Stop giveaway. It's all on the front page.
Yeah, yes, on the front page there's an explanatory thing where it says SO straight on, TL turn left, TR turn right, SP signpost, SGW stop give way.
But when someone hits you in the side, you
Yeah, you realise you got it wrong.
Okay.
Can we say thank you to the 2 Davids for putting on all this hard work?
And we hope it's worth that clap.
And their
It may not be when we get back.
also did it.
Do what?
The wine.
And the wine.
Yes, they did. Yeah, Denise drove me round one day. I went out with Dave yesterday, so
The 2 Davids for these ladies.
another round of applause. So, nobody got any questions? Any complaints when you get back? My name is David Huckstead.
Lovely.
through this way
I
then?
think I'm just following.
Oh, right, we'll follow. Okay,
These people with us, yeah?
right.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye. Bye. See you again. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a good venue already.
This is a lovely venue here.
Wedding venue.
A lot going on here, isn't there?
They're making use of what we've got.
Looks as though we're all present and correct.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming along today. What I'll try and do.
Quiet, please.
Oh, we have got a couple. We've got a few more others coming along. Okay. Welcome to Kersey Mill, everybody.
Come round.
The mill that you're looking at today, the origins of it go back to the Doomsday Book, but clearly this mill was rebuilt, and it was around about 1810. In the 1850s, the mill was extended, pushed out the back, and quite a lot of progress was made with the introduction of steam power. So it's quite a unique mill in the respect that we have water power at the front here, what would have been steam driven at the back, and then in its later days there was just a tanging engine. So for the last 10 years of its life, and it ended its life around about mid-1920s, it was just running animal feed on an old tanging engine. But in its heyday, which would have been 1860s, 1870s, it was steam and water driven. So we bought this site in June 2012, so we're literally coming up for 5 years, and it was in a pretty sorry state all round. The mill had been derelict from about the 1950s. The water had poured in, the lead had been stripped off the roof, so metal thieves were around back in those days as well. And for those of you who care to go upstairs carefully, but you'll see that we've actually rebuilt the mill now from the inside out. So it was a funnel shape coming down, and virtually the entire top floor is new. When you look at the timber work that we've done, you'll see that we've spliced in some 11 by 11 posts. We've put in 3 8.2 metre timbers that go right to the top. So the actual main structure is now absolutely solid. It's just that the stairs are not what modern standards would be, but you know, we're not asking you to run up there with a sack of grain, but you are very welcome to have a wander around. As you go through the mill, you'll actually see, hopefully, the different sort of areas of to how it works. So it was all about gravity. So the millers used to hoist the grain to the top floor, pour it into bin stores, where they would have different processes for cleaning, for grinding, and so on, and would allow gravity to come back down. The works that were predominantly done in the 1860s was all about mechanising and putting in lifts to take the flour, the ground meal, back to the top floor, where it would be processed into white flour. So this was a white flour mill, and you'll see parts of that. And for those who don't want to go upstairs, the great news is we've actually got a scale working model, which has just been done by an incredibly clever guy, David Coe. It's the 18th scale, so you can physically see how everything works. So if we start from here, I'll take you inside, I'll talk you through how the water side worked, how the steam side worked, and explain just what we're doing, because this is very much work in progress for us. We're expecting within about 2 years from now to actually be able to produce flour from the water side. The water wheel hadn't turned for about 100 years. We thought that was our first job. We've got that turning now, as you will see. Then the frame rebuild, which is just completed. We're about to start, probably in the next couple of months, on the hearse frame, which is the part which houses the stones for grinding the wheat flour. So we head in, and then I can talk you through. Good stuff. So, outside of that wall is the water wheel, and you'll walk round and you'll see that. Do pay particular attention to the deep water that's around there, so no diving or bombing, please. Not too chilly for that. So connected to the water wheel, you have the pit wheel, which is the main source of power for the water side. And if you bear in mind that everything from those central timbers there coming this way was the original heart of the mill and was water driven. So the pit wheel, which we've re-toothed, you'll see all that. You'll see all the teeth in there. They're oak, and they were oak originally. Some mills would have been done with apple. These were done with oak, so we've replaced them with oak. That then connects up to this central shaft through here, this lay shaft, which will eventually turn the crown wheels, which will turn the stones that sit on top there. And that is absolutely rotten, so we've had to take the stones down. But as I said, that's our next phase of work. And you'll see the governors, and the majority of the machinery within the mill is still here, and that was obviously a godsend. If we turn our attention to the frame, you'll start to see here we've still got a few bits and pieces to finish off, but you can see these 1, 2 and this timber here, they go right the way to the top of the mill, 8.2 metres, and you can see where we put these scarf joints in, all in pine, all from the Bedford-Elvedon area. So that's given us the opportunity to put the actual structure back. There was just a massive hole in, and you can't hardly get to the top. But very fortunately, the water missed the bottom of the machinery. So that back section is the extension that was put on in the 1860s that I mentioned to you, and that would have, you'll see the difference with the hearse frame, this part, that's actually built in cast, whereas this is timber. And in the production process, they actually put in these elevators, you can see in the boxes there. And that is what has, you actually see the remnants of it, it's like a leather belt with cups on, which takes the meal back right to the top, where it gets deposited into what is a bolter, but it's a sieve, and which slowly tumbles, turns, goes through a sieve on the 3rd floor, ends up going through this one here, and that's where you end up with your wine flour. And again, everything was tried to be automated, so that would be taking the meal. So a miller and a boy would run this mill. So it wasn't sort of hundreds of people running everywhere, not once all the automation was put in. Now, this is the model that I've mentioned to you, which I'll happily talk you through and show you that for those who don't want to go upstairs. For those who do venture upstairs, you actually see that in this corner above here, there's a Eureka machine. It's a smutter. Basically, it's for cleaning the grain before it gets dressed. And then as you head up further from there, you'll get to the bin stores. So you've got the bolter, which is an 8-yard machine, which is for sieving the meal. And then you've got the bin stores, which would have been there to house around about 100 tonnes of grain. Clearly we will never ever need to house 100 tonnes of grain, so we will actually end up turning that into like a museum area where people can wander around and see the different bits and pieces. Feel free by all means to wander around, have a look at anything on the ground floor here, and then I'll show you out to the wheelhouse. I'll show you the wheel there, and we can head upstairs, whoever wants to do that, and have a look at the model for those that don't. All right? Yeah.
I did think about it this morning. I thought, oh no, keep climbing up. Yeah. Go up first and then come down and have a look. No, no.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Oops, right.
Kingsley Curtis lent us one wedding.
So we've been round the mill, and now all the cars are parked up here, and the next little event, I think, is to try and get all the cars round in front of the mill for another photo shoot.
I've nearly thrown out the car at one point because my navigator was so loud.
Go and watch them racing around there, and original, really
No power steering.
over. I thought I'd better get out of the way.
Don't take poker with him.
No, very good. But we'll see you.
Take care.
Yeah, take care, yeah.
You're going home? Ta-ra, Nick.
Cheers, Nick.
Has the other David found his keys?
Has the other David found his keys? Just hang on, a couple of moving, yeah? Okay. Confidence is going, yeah? Yeah, it's just going to make it easy for you.
Lovely day now.
I've lost my sunglasses. Hard round, hard round. Hard.
No problem.
Not too much, no.
Between the rolls on the road.
See you now.